everybody.
Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Rookie Division with various win for the Superstar 9 Cup. A playthrough for you that do want to get some success in the upcoming 9 Cup. Make sure to hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. And if you are looking to improve your game even more, we do have 9 Cup guides for you on patreon.com/golf/Tommy. Obviously, we do provide much more than that, not just the 9 Cup guides, but also 18-hole tournament guides and also tour play guides for those that are interested in such. Scan the QR code here on the screen, or you go through the link that is in the description, patreon.com/golf. Follow the info box on the right hand side just next to Amelia here, and you can find the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type we suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. On hole 8, the drive. Here I'm using a power 3 ball, utilizing the tailwind, aiming left of the light pole and trying to just bounce my ball up safely on the fairway. In the end, I ending up using 4 topspin and 2 right spin, and adjustment is max plus 10 P3. You can obviously play with a different ball here, such as a P2 or P1 ball, but the good part with using a P3 ball is that you don't have to go with any overpower if using that type of ball. Perfect it is, and we're going to bounce on the fairway, over the other fairway, to get ourselves a nice position on the second shot. Yardage is 350. Second shot, we're looking at that one as well. Now I'm using the backbone. This shot is actually very good in terms of you can still have a decent ball guideline even with worse clubs. So you don't really have to play with Grizzly 7 or 7 plus or B52 7 plus to have a good look at this hole. The only difference that I would do here though, if you compare a backbone 8 and like a Grizzly 7 plus that have 4.5 ball guideline, is to aim the ball guideline slightly short. True club distance minus 10% elevation, P3 numbers. A perfect ball here will have a very good chance for a drop. Bounces on the fairway and it comes up and it rolls dead center for a lovely eagle here on hole number 8. For hole number 2, we're gonna play a very downhill shot here, and we're going to go with 3 left spin, and it's gonna be ending up to be 2 top spin. Sure, I'm aiming with the first bounce on the fairway above the rough, but that's not really the spot that I do want here. I do want to be able to aim at the hole, which I do think is key. In the end, not 2 top spin, 1.5 bar top spin and 3 left spin, yellow ring by the rough line with ball guideline to the hole. Here in the video I do adjust max plus 50, almost Swedish, but we're gonna play medium distance plus 50 instead. Center the ball and hit perfect, and you're gonna give yourself a solid chance to attack the pin on this very tough par 3. You see it bounces on the fairway, over the rough and in between the rough and the sand there, and then missing on the right, but obviously that makes sense as we adjusted the wrong numbers. Hole number 6 of Oasis, which is hole number 3 in the Superstar 9 Cup. Very boring par 5 in my opinion. 4.5 bar topspin, 2 left spin. If you have the possibility to play with more topspin, do that, because the idea of this play is gonna work with whatever topspin amount that you have. Yes, that is at minimum 4.5 bar, because we're aiming with the first bounce on the first fairway, and second bounce to be before the rough, and then to show that the third bounce goes to the final fairway island. Max plus 10. And you can see here now that we are bouncing on the fairway over the rough, and then to roll up nicely. The further up we are on the fairway here, the better it's going to be on the second shot. Second shot, we play with the sniper. This is not going to be an easy one to drop. The trick to give yourself a chance is to come in from the left side of the green. The problem is obviously with low-level snipers like this, it's going to be difficult to have the distance enough if you do only have the 4.5 topspin on your drive as I had. But stretch out to see the ball guideline fall down. And the reason I do choose the sniper over playing with the big dog or any other wood club that have more power is due to the ball guideline. I do want to have the ball guideline because even if I don't drop this shot, it gives me a way of at least knowing if I'm aiming at a hole or not, and also knowing if I'm coming in with approximately the correct amount of speed. Worst case scenario, you fall a little short or you fall a little long, but it's gonna be either a super short wedge or a short putt to lock in the eagle. For hole number 4, what we are going to decide to do here is to play down the fairway on the left. And the reason I'm doing that is to make sure that even if I do have a crappy drive and end up into the rough or sand, I'm still having an easy time to reach from there. Because the other way of playing is to bounce up towards the fairway island that you do have on the right side. But the problem you have from there is that if you do get into the rough or sand with that drive, you will not reach to the green in 2. Medium distance plus 10 because we're not playing from max distance. 3 right spin, and using as well all the top spin here on an extra mile level 6. Ball comes down the fairway nicely, and even though we're playing with a close line by the rough, it's still staying on the fairway. But again, I'm playing a little bit closer to the rough lines like that just to avoid myself having an issue that if I make a crappy drive on the right, that I at least now could reach for the green. Now, playing with the Goliath, here I recommend to play with the long iron that gives you the best possible ball guideline, because that will help immensely when it comes to knowing if you're gonna come in too hot or too short. In this instance, I'm leaving the ball guideline short and too short for getting a drop. Obviously, I knew that after I took the shot, so it's hard to correct that from the beginning. So make sure to study that, make sure to do your best and judge and make your best educated guess. 10% elevation through club distance, and if I would have just kept the ball guideline closer, would have been getting ourselves a chance for a drop. In the end, we end up with a safe birdie and move on. Yoruba Springs, hole number 9, that is hole number 5 in the Superstar 9-hole cup. Start with the big topper. Max top spin, 1 right spin. Now we're looking at the ball guideline mainly, trying to get the ball guideline to go not straight down the fairway, but looking towards the rock there in the background that is left of that light pole. Adjustment is going to be minimum distance, no elevation, as we are playing very close to minimum club. That's also why I'm using a power 1 ball to avoid myself to go in between clubs. Center the ball and hit perfect. Ball bounces nicely on the fairway and goes beautifully down the fairway. And the further down we are on the fairway, the better it's going to be. When it comes to the second shot here, use a club that do have a decent amount of topspin. You don't have to play with a horizon here if you don't want to. But even with a lower level horizon, you have no issue by getting the ball down there. But you can easily playing with the big dog or playing with a low level cataclysm or something like that. The goal here with this shot is to go short rather than long, and the reason for that is if you go too long, there is a downslope on the green that will make you fall down into the rough, and that's not something we wanna do. 10% elevation through club distance, normally gonna be around medium distance of your club. Using some curl as well to compensate, and it bounces on the fairway down towards the green. And even though it might look that the ball is gonna fall down into the hole, it's never gonna do that. It doesn't have the hill enough to do so, but I will take this putt for an eagle all day and every day. Oasis hole number 7 from the front tee. This is truly one of the most disliked par 3s in my world, and the reason I think that is because it's just built from inconsistency. Doing a rough bump is inconsistent, bouncing on the fairways are inconsistent to all the bumps and stuff like that. So I do believe though that the fairway spot that we are bouncing on here in the video is definitely the one to give you the most consistency within all the inconsistencies. Max plus 10, I'm using backspin to go through the hole to try to compensate for the headwind coming in a little bit hot and a little bit too much to the left, but in the worst case scenario with a perfect ball here, you will then have a easy birdie putt. However though, this is a par 3 where there is not much room for error, and that's something to really have in mind. You're gonna see a lot of opponents sit with a par on their scorecards, so make sure to follow the advice and get yourself a safe birdie to start with, and then if you're a little bit lucky, then you get an hole-in-one. Hole number 4 is the toughest one so far if we are looking back at hole 1, 2, and 3. We're going to play on the left side here, trying to lay up on the top of top of the fairway island. We're going to use 3 right spin, 2 top spin. I'm playing here with a kingmaker, mainly as I would like to have the side spin on the second shot and also the power. Adjust max plus 5. Center the ball and hit perfect. We're gonna find ourselves very nicely on that pad. I'm not gonna sit here and say that this is going to be without any risk. Obviously, with bad grades, you may roll into the rough or on either side, but single grades and also a perfect ball shall always be super safe. On the second shot now, we're gonna play with our sniper. Here I do have sniper level 7, which is the first time we do have a good ball guideline with the sniper, but we don't really have much power. So what I'm trying to do is to use right spin and try to play into that slight sticky spot that we do have there on the green. This is a difficult shot, especially as there are a lot of bumps on the green, and it's always going to be difficult to be absolutely spot on with a shot like this, because it's not just that we have to adjust the correct amount of rings, we need to do with the correct pull angle, we need to have the wind angle in a correct way as well. So there's a lot of things that's gonna be happening on a shot like this, but with playing max plus 20, you will always be around the hole and give yourself a chance to drop this tough par 4 here from distance. Bouncing over and up towards the green, perfect speed, but are just left of the hole. Hole number 7 of Whitecliff, which is hole number 8 in the Superstar 9-hole Cup, is a very difficult par 3. Here I play with the sniper. The ball guideline is super helpful here, using a little bit more than 4 bars of backspin and 3 right spin, so max backspin with sniper 7. Ball guideline to go slightly past the hole, but the only reason I'm aiming past the hole is due to having a slight headwind component on my shot. 1-to-1, that's why I'm now having no elevation in the box. I'm playing 1-to-1, so 1.9 rings for 1.9 miles per hour. Bounces on the fairway, up towards the green, and then coming in a little bit short, but that's really close for being this par 3. I mean, I can sit here and say that I wanted to obviously have a hole-in-one, but I'm not losing any sleep over getting a birdie on this very tough par 3. Hole number 3 of the Chihuahua Springs is hole number 9 in the Superstar 9-hole Cup. Here we're playing with a power 5 ball, and I would say that's an important thing to do, as we do want to get as close to the green as possible on the second shot. Now a control drive to try to just get the ball down the fairway. 10% elevation. I'm gonna play minimum distance together with that. The topspin will vary depending on if you do have a headwind, crosswind, or tailwind. Ball bounces nicely on the fairway, and we're getting it over here. And here we want to be as close to the rough on the right without obviously rolling into the rough. Second shot, we are going to use the fairway on the right, and here comes the very difficult part with this par 5, is that we can't really reach the green in 2, so we're going to have to do our best to get as close as possible. Tailwind on this shot, meaning left to right wind off tee, is going to be super helpful, as then you can play into the wind. But if you're having headwind, you can just imagine that we will go much shorter, and then it's going to be a much tougher third shot. Now on the second shot we're going to play the wedge. I'm gonna play that 110% elevation as well, and take a look at the wedge just as a reference. Here, use the wedge that gives you the best accuracy and ball guideline. Here, in this case, it's the Firefly level 5 for me, but I would say using an Endbringer or something like that in a decent level is definitely the one to prefer. Even though I do have a lot of topspin here, what I will recommend is to try to have your first bounce either on the fringe or very close to the fringe, because there are many glitch spots here, and this spot here is by experience the best. The 10% elevation, and then whatever way you decide to adjust your wedge, try to hit perfect with this needle, and you see the ball comes up here and rolls down, and we're getting it to drop for an eagle here on hole number 3. And the thing is though, an eagle here is definitely going to be something not everyone is gonna get. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Rookie Division, with various wins to help you out throughout the Superstar 9-hole cup here during this week. If you do want to improve your game even more, make sure to scan the QR code here on the screen, or you go directly to patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You do have a link in the description down below. Thank you once again for watching. Good luck in your Golf Clash game.
Bye bye.